All right, so welcome. Tonight we're looking at the Advanced Class Methods Lab. So I'll be walking through this some, and yeah, any questions, comments, anything that you have along the way this evening, please shout them out. If you're not in a place to turn your microphone on, throw it in the chat. I have the chat window open, but it isn't on a different screen than this one. So I do sometimes get zoned in to the code, and I promise I'll glance over the chat room as regularly as I remember to. But yeah, we'll dive into this. Is everybody, or before we dive in, where are people at? Are you before this lab, on this lab, or after this lab? Okay, so we got currently on this lab, all the methods up to alphabetical. After this lab, struggling, that's fine. On this lab, after this lab. This is not the music library CLI. However, this lab contains some of the same elements that will be used in the music library CLI. So music library CLI project has like a culmination of a lot of these labs put together with some small changes here and there, so you can't just copy and paste everything. Yeah, if you're on the CLI, this should help. Sweet. Well, glad to hear it. And yeah, I think maybe I can move this to the side. We'll figure out what works best. Can everybody see the code well enough? I know sometimes screen resolutions and things going across the internet, this might be tiny to you, and I can make it bigger, no problem. Or if you want it bigger, let me know. But I'm just going to start reading the README. So our objectives in this lab are to build custom class constructors, build class finders, and build class operators. So this lab has provided us, with a base song class that provides the following definition. And I'm looking at the markdown, so if you're looking at LearnCo, it's all formatted and nice. We have a class of song with an attribute accessor for the name and artist name. We have a self-all and a save. The song class provides a class variable addAddAll to store all instances for song that are created through the instance method songSave. Additionally, song instances have basic properties of a name and an artist name. You have to build class methods that interact on the class data of addAddAll and provide the rest of our program with the semantic API on the song class with the methods such as song.findOrCreateByName blank space.
Excuse me, Seth?
Yes.
Hey, would you possibly be able to make the thing a little bit bigger?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. I think I'll throw this down here. I think it'll work better with this size. Okay, song.create. All right, so we got instructions. Let me move this right here. Swap those. And I'll run our tests with a fail fast. Hopefully they line up. Okay. So let's read the README and then we'll work on the method and we can go back and forth. Song.create. Build a class constructor, song.create, that initializes a song and saves it to the addAddAll class variable either literally or through the class method song.all. This method should return the song instance that was initialized and saved. Consider song equals song.create, song.all.include song should return true. So I'm guessing this is probably what the tests are doing. I'm not going to look into it unless we really need to, but I see song equals song.create, and it looks like song equals song.create is being called in the test. So we can start with that. So song class methods dot create. So we know that we need this as a class level method. So self dot create. I always put my end before I do anything else, so I never forget it. Well, I won't say never, but most of the time, don't forget it. And this should provide us a new error, because now we don't have an undefined method. We actually have that create method. Okay, expected song to be a song. So we saw that we had this local variable song being created, and it's checking to see that that song is a class variable or is a song object. And the key thing here to think about is that we're doing this on the class. So we're not passing any arguments here. So we also don't have, we're creating the create method. Yeah. I think I'm talking in a circle right now. But so we need to return the song, because we're going to say, song.create, and we want a song sent back to us or returned to us. So let's create a local variable. And since we want to create an instance of this song class, we can call self.new. So we're going to say self.new. So it's like, song.new. And our README said consider. When we look at include, we're going to want to see the song. So we're going to want to do song.save. And when we call save, because song is going to be from this song class, an object of the song class, we can call .save on it, which is going to call this method here. And it's going to push song into the class variable here. And then when we do song.all.include, song.all is going to return this array. We're just going to have the song we just made in it. And then to return that song, we need song. Cool. Instantiates, it saves the song, and it returns the new song that was created. So now we're moving on. Song.newByName. Build a class constructor, song.newByName, that takes in the string name of a song and returns a song instance with that name set as its name property. Song.newByName should return an instance of song and not a simple string or anything else. Implement the following functionality. Song equals, implement the following functionality. That makes more sense than consider. Song equals song.newByName. We pass in a string for a song name, and that should create a song object. And then song.name will return the name that we gave it. Okay. So right now we don't have this method, so we're getting a undefined method, but we want new by name. We're gonna have one argument, which will be the name that's passed in. Now we should get a new error when we run our tests. So we're looking for song new by name, a class level constructor. So we missed our self. Expect song.name to equal, okay. song, def, save, self, create. Okay. So here we want to walk through, once again, creating a new song. And now we want to set this name property. And do that by calling song.name equals name. So this name is going to be equivalent to this name that we're passing it, the argument. And we have access to this .name functionality, this .name equals, because we have name in our accessor up here. And then we need to save our song and return the song object, the instance of the song.
That could we have just used self.create instead of new on line 20?
Well, if we do, let's look. Or let's see what our tests tell us. Yeah, that's fine.
Would that have, so with that line, could we have just avoided 21 and 22, or actually 20, 22? Because create would save the song in the array, right?
Yes. I'm trying to think if we're going to need to save it after we assign. Do we need to save it after we assign the name? No?
It will save the instance anyways. And the instance would have the attribute, right?
Yeah. So we don't need that. This can be self.create.
Okay.
Save. Yeah, because this is class level. Cool. I made that simpler. Let's get rid of that. So next, song.create by name. Build a class constructor, song.create by name, that takes in the string name of a song and returns a song instance with that name set as its name property and the song being saved into the add@all class variable. So song.create by name, song, and then we'll create the song instance, and then song, when we call song, it should return that instance, and then song.all.include song should be true. So it should be in the array as well as created. I think we're pretty much doing that in new by name since we use the create, and the create calls, well, either way, we were going to call save. And when we call save, it throws it into that array. But looks like the tests weren't that strict on us in doing more than we needed to do.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I totally missed that name, new by name.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if we need to save it, honestly, to make that test pass. Yeah. So we're kind of stepping through bit by bit, getting more complex.
Okay.
But the tests aren't restricting us either, so that's fine. So, is this self? Yeah. Create by name, and okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so here we could do this, what we had before, and just say self dot create. That should also do the same thing, or do what we were doing before, just here, but satisfy the test, I believe. Yes. Instantiates and saves a song. So one is just supposed to instantiate and one is supposed to save it. And in this case, it's not making any real difference. The idea being, sometimes you want to create something, like we create that object, that instance, and then we want to do a bunch of stuff to it before we save it. So that was kind of really what this self new by name is. Like we were talking about the music library CLI, there's sometimes that we don't want to save it until we've done some other things to it. So the new versus the create, because the create method is supposed to instantiate and save. And when we get to, or everybody gets to Rails and such and is using models, create is going to do that. So it's going to instantiate and save. And sometimes we don't want to do that. So that's why there's the differentiation here. But it really, I guess, in this context, doesn't necessarily make as much sense why they're different.
So .new, is that like a primitive Ruby method?
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't have to like define initialize to use new?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's a class, you can call .new on it.
Gotcha.
I guess you could probably call .new on almost anything because everything's an object.
Yeah.
So song find by name. Build a class finder, song.findByName, that accepts the string of a song and returns the matching instance of the song with that name. So consider the middle equals song.createByName, the middle, okay? Song.findByName, the middle, returns the song. Okay. Wait. Yeah, class, all classes. Self.find by name, and we're going to have a string in there, the name. So now we want to think. So there's a few ways that we can solve this. We have an array full of songs. So we need to iterate through the array and return the song instance when it's matched. So we know that we're dealing with add at all. And we have a few different methods that we can use to look through arrays. And since we want to return after looking through the array, and we want to return with something that we're matching, detect is a great option here. Detect is going to iterate through our array and create a new and return what it finds. And I think I'm getting confused with another one, thinking about it. Never mind what I was going to say. But so yeah, detect is going to do pretty much, should do exactly what we need here. Now, to find our match, we're going to, and since we have some, sweet, yeah. Let me get a fresh window open. So yeah, let's look at detect. Go to Ruby Doc. 2.3. Actually, I think the curriculum is on 2.3.4 right now. I'll look at detect. And what I did just now, rubydoc.org, core API, whatever version of Ruby you're running, which 2.3.4 is the default for the curriculum, and but it doesn't mean you have to use it. And then a method like detect. So if you ever see anything in Ruby code and you're wondering what it does, this is the exact steps to go through. Detect. And it shows you exactly how it works with some examples. So detect if none equals nil. I've never put anything inside there, but an object and a block, and it will return either an object or nil. So it passes each entry to the block. So it's saying, here, the examples. And detect is also equivalent to find. They're the same exact thing. That's why it has detect and find here. If we go to find, we will see the same exact examples. We'll see the same exact definition. Just instead of it saying detect here, it's going to say find. And we can probably just scroll down a little bit to find. Find, same exact thing. And find might make more sense. You might know find, or just in the wording, find might make more sense. Passes each entry to the block, returns the first for which the block is not false. If no object matches, calls if none, and returns its results when it is specified, or returns nil otherwise. No block is given, and enumerator is returned instead. So don't get too caught up in all those words in there, but pretty much it's going to go through what you give it, in our case, an array of objects, and whatever we're trying to match on, it'll return the first one it matches, otherwise it's going to return nil. So we're going to say detect, and following the formatting, we have a name, and we're going to say if we're passing, we're going, or actually song, because we're going through all the songs, so we're going to say, you know, if the song's name, as we're going through all of the songs, song by song, if this current song that we're evaluating's name is equivalent to the name that we pass in, we want to return that. Otherwise, it's going to give us back nil. Does that make sense about detect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Find by, okay, yeah, that worked. So find or create by name. Oh. Oh, you gotta read me. Find by name. Okay. In order to prevent duplicate songs, from being created that actually represent this, I guess, in order to prevent duplicate songs being created that actually represent the same song based on the song name, we're going to build a song.findOrCreateByName class method. This method will accept a string name for a song and either return a matching song instance with that name or create a new song with the name and return the song instance. Consider song one equals song.findOrCreateByName blank space, song two equals song.findOrCreateByName blank space. Song one and song two are conceptually the same song and should return the same song instance because of .findOrCreateByName. So song one equals song two. So what we're saying here is, let's see. How can I hit it? Let's do this. IRB. I'll just copy this class in here. What we don't want is, well, we don't have find or create by name. So one, I did that. Create by name. And then we'll do song 2, create by name. So even though they're both songs and they both have the same name, song1.name, song2.name, they are different objects. So if we look, we see that this address here is different. We have 1B98858 and 1BC2F18. So they are completely different song objects, song instances. And that's what we don't want. Because right now, if we do song.all, we have 2 songs. So that's what we don't want and what we're writing this method for. So we got our find or create by name. Okay. Expect song to receive find by name at least 1 time. So this is telling us that our find or create by name should be using our find by name method. Saying expect the song class to receive a find by name call at least 1 time. So we know that we need to use this method. We know that we have a name. So let's start with our find by name name. If we do self find by name, it's going to return the name if it is there already. So this takes care of half of what we need. Where, let's see, invokes find by name and repeat by name instead of repeating code. Find by name name. Oh, it's saying expect to receive create by name at least 1 time. So it found find by name, but it doesn't have create by name. So we can say something like if self find by name, then we return that object, else self.create by name with the name. I think that'll pass. Let's see. 5 and 1. 8 and 1. Okay, so that did pass. Invokes find by name, create by name, returns the existing song object, creates a new object. However, there is a simpler way to write this. One, we're repeating ourselves here, so that's not the greatest, but there's a pattern that is very useful that I think a lot of people don't think about as much when we start, because it seems we don't realize the power of it. And I'm realizing it more and more. Some of our really, not even the ternary operator, but good thought, because the ternary operator could do this. However, we have one condition that if it's true, we want to use it. Otherwise, there's another condition we want to use. And that is really a very basic if-else statement. And however, we're just calling other methods. And so we don't have to worry about our return because the method's taking care of that for us. And yeah, or and can be used so many more ways than I think we think about. So we can do self.find by name or self.create by name. Oh. And then we'll have to pass the name. So if find by name, so if it's in our array, find by name is going to return an object, and that object is going to be true. And since the or isn't going to continue on if it finds something true on the first side, we're never going to get to create by name. However, if it doesn't find a name, this isn't going to return, this is going to return nil. And we know that nil evaluates to false. So it's going to say, oh, this is false. Let me try the other side now. And that's something you can remember all the way through till you get to React. Because in React, there's going to be times where you want to render things only when certain things are true. And this pattern is very useful there. You could say, you know, this thing, either it's true or it's not. It's there or it's not. So if it's there, do the rest of this stuff. Otherwise, don't do anything. And this should still pass our test. There we go. All right. Song.alphabetical. Build a class method song.alphabetical that returns all the songs in ascending A to Z order. Use array sort by. Okay. Array sort by. That didn't take me to sort by. It highlighted it, but it didn't take us there. Okay. Sorts using a set of keys generated by mapping the values through the given block. The result is not guaranteed to be stable when two keys are equal. The order of corresponding elements is unpredictable. If no block is given, the enumerator is returned instead. Okay. The current implementation of sort by generates an array of tuples containing the original collection element and the map value. This makes sort by fairly expensive when the key sets are simple. Produces, however, okay. This is like way more complicated than it needs to be, I think. Where's it all the way up here? Like, why did they make it so complicated? Sort by. Oh, it says the same stuff. It just looks more. I don't know. This seems simpler to me, even though it's saying the same exact words. So yeah, sending to that documentation really makes things more complicated. Like, you don't have to worry about what a tuple is and stuff like that. At this point in time, actually, I never worried about what a tuple was. I've since learned what it is, but I've never really worried about it. And I've forgotten what it is too. So if you ask me, I couldn't tell you. But I did learn about it at one point. Shows the level of its importance in Ruby or JavaScript world. Okay, so we want to sort by, and what do we want to sort by? So we need to have an array of things. So this is also throwing a curveball in because its example is this %W apple pear fig. Now, let me show you that. That example is equivalent to that. Those are the exact same thing. So if you've never seen that %W before, you probably had no clue what was going on. So yeah, whenever I run across that, I like to show people that because you're going to see it in code places. But yeah, it's just another way of doing an array. So yeah, that probably clears this up some. So we want to, let's write our method def song.alphabetical or self.alphabetical. And so we need our array of all our songs. So we're going to start with, let's say self.all. It's going to return all our songs. And now we do sort by. So we're following the same pattern. We've got our array, and then we call dot sort by. And now we see that here we sorted by word length. And if we want to sort by, let's see, let's follow our pattern. So we have song. And there we sorted by length by calling word.length. So here, I believe we can sort by just doing song.name. And it should sort alphabetically. Let's see. And it did. So that worked. Something else that you might see sometimes in the land of things that are equivalent to each other is something like this. And those are equivalent. It's basically saying we're just getting a property off of each one of these things. So while you're iterating, just give me the name of each iteration. And I think that'll work. I know it works in map, so I'm assuming it works in all types of iterators. I guess we can find out real quick, and then we'll keep it moving so we can get to, we got 3 more methods to go. And a little less than 15 minutes. So yeah, still works. But those are the same. So if you ever see this anywhere, that's what it is. There is no documentation for this. I asked some Ruby developers who've been developing Ruby for 15 plus years one time. I said, hey, is there a piece of documentation that I can link students in Flatiron School and Learn's curriculum to about this thing? And they said, oh yeah, of course. And then like an hour later, everybody was like, I can't find anything. Sorry. And the Stack Overflow answers are way more in depth than they need to be about, like, that's pretty much what it does. The way it does it is definitely more complex than that, but that's all you really need to know. Okay, new from file name. Build a class constructor that accepts a file name in the format of artist name song name.mp3. For example, Taylor Swift blank space.mp3. Given song.new from file name, and then the string of the file name, the constructor should return a new song instance with the song name set to blank space and the artist name set to Taylor Swift. The file name input sent to song.new from file name and the format of the string must be parsed for the relevant components. Separate the artist name from the rest of the data based on the space delimiter. The spaces are important. Don't forget that when you parse the song name, you have to remove the .mp3 part of the string. Okay. So let's say self new from file name. let's call this file name. I'm going to move a little bit quicker here because I want to get through these last 3 methods. So if something's confusing, shout and stop. I have no problem going a little bit after the time because I was, grabbing a drink at the beginning, but I want to be mindful of the end of the hour. And hopefully have a couple minutes if anybody has, overall questions. So first thing we need is an object to work with. So let's say song self.new. And the next thing we want to do is split our file name up. So let's create a variable of that, split file name. And set that equal to file name dot. And the first thing we want to do is take that long string and get rid of the end. Page, control. And one way that I find methods, so I scroll through all these methods and I look for, I'm working on strings right now, or on a string. So I look for, somewhere in here, string. So that's a string method. I'm sure there's a better way to get to all the string methods, but I come here and I start looking through all of these. And the one that we're gonna get to is chomp. Chomp returns a new string with a given record separator removed from the end of string, if present. So we see hello.chomp, hello, chomp new line. Here, this is what I was looking for, hello.chomp LLO. Takes the LLO off. So we'll do chomp, and we want to pass in that .mp3 string. So now we should have chopped off that .mp3, and now let's split it. And we'll use the space dash space. So now we should have an array that has in index 0 the artist, and in index 1 the artist name and the song name. So we have a name and an artist name method. So we'll do song.name equals split file name. What is it? 1 for the song, and then song.artist name equals split file name 0. And then given should return the new song. So we need to return the song again. It's a song. Oh, there's a colon there. There we go. And then we have create from that file name. Build a class constructor that accepts a file name in the same format. Should not only parse the file name correctly, but should also save the song instance that was created. So same sort of thing. Actually, I think it could be exactly the same, and we just change that new to create. We'll see if that works. Ten examples, 1 failure. No, okay. All right, do we have? It's like we may create, right? Yeah. So we'll do self.new. We'll do the same exact thing. This time we'll call that save right here. And I think that will do what we're looking for. Okay, nope. Let's see. Create a name. We split it, we chomp it. All right, wrong number of arguments. Oh, we need the file name here. So maybe create did work. I wasn't reading the error. Let's see. It did. Cool. So now our last method is, what is it? Destroy all. Song.destroyAll. The song.destroyAll class method should reset the state of the add@all class variable to an empty array, thereby deleting all previous song instances. So there's a few different ways to do this. We could set it back, we could set it equal to an empty array, but we'll call a method on it. And we'll call another method that we've written, or no, we haven't written it, but we'll call another method that we have available to us. Expect blank space to be null. We'll call self.all. That's gonna get us a return of our all. Dot. We'll call clear on that. And that should give us what we're looking for. Yep, sweet. Any questions? I know I went through the end quickly to try and get it in there so we could have some time to talk about questions. We looked at a few things outside of what we have just here in the code. So we looked at detect a little bit more in depth. We looked at this pattern here, this OR pattern. Instead of a ternary or an if else, we saw this, I don't even know what it's called specifically, but if we're just getting a property through an iterator off of each object, then we can do this to save a little bit of space. It'll just be a little bit less verbose since this is so repetitive, song.name. We saw the %W curly brackets. There's another way to initiate arrays. And then, yeah, we went through this lab and we saw chomp in Ruby docs and looked at a few different things. But yeah, any questions about anything we've gone over this evening? So some time left.